Hi, my name is David. I'm an American English language arts teacher as well as a Google educator from New Jersey, USA, now living in Mexico. Today, I just want to show you real quick how to use Duolingo for schools to do some fun vocabulary activity. So I'll jump right in it. Let me just share my screen. All right. So the first thing you want to do is just head on over to the Duolingo for Schools platform. Of course, you're the educator, so you're just going to go ahead, log in, and select your class. So what I want to do here, like in the following 5 minutes, is just quickly show you one of the things I do for my students in my classroom, and that is, as we see here, let's say lesson number 1, actually like the introduction unit. So it has 1, 2, 3 lessons, and each lesson has its own particular set of vocabulary words. For example, lesson 1 has hello, coffee, please, and tea. Lesson 2 has yes or milk, water with. Lesson 3 has thank you, goodbye, no, you're welcome, and sugar. So normally you assign them. Students will start, playing with the activities, start learning, practice them. And then once that's over, I normally use this as a warm-up, by the way, in my classes. So after the warm-up is over, I just go ahead and share my screen and I show them, okay, so this is lesson 1, 2, and 3. This is the following vocabulary we have. So let's make sure that you understand the words that were in the Duolingo lesson. So one of the ways I do this is, let's just say we're going to focus on these 4 words: hello, coffee, please, and tea. Now let's imagine that I ask them, okay, student number 1, give me a sentence with hello. Student number 2, give me a question with coffee, right? And they could say something like, oh, my dad does your dad like coffee in the morning? Okay, and so on. So what also you want to do, right? You can tell them, give me an imperative sentence, give me a question sentence, give me, give me a sentence in passive voice if that's what you're, studying, and so forth. So, you want to make sure that they can use the word and a correct sentence structure at the same time. At least that's what I like to do. So after that, you can open something that I like here, a nifty Google Jamboard. All right, and also quick shout out to Matt Miller for some of the slides he has sent out for teachers. This is one in particular from one of his decks, so I just do want to give out a shout out to Matt from the Ditch That Textbook Academy. So this is one of the slides that he has posted, and I find it quite handy, quite useful. So it says worked and didn't work. All right, so for example, let's just say that, well, I think my students, they did okay with the words such as coffee, please, and I don't know, something maybe hot. Okay, now if we go back to the lesson, all right, we see that, okay, tea, maybe they didn't understand tea a lot, they've never heard it before or something. Okay, so if that's the case, I want to go ahead and just show them that, okay, if maybe 30% of the classroom, or maybe 40 or 50, whatever percent it was, maybe some of the students did not know what the word tea was. So I just want to quickly show them, okay, so these words you already know, these we need to work on. Okay, so once the whole classroom is up to date to where they need to be as far as what words they have and which ones need some more work, then you can do something else. For example, right, you can just open a new slide, Jamboard again. And for example, I'm just going to put here an instruction with a sticky note. Okay, so please, all right, please add a sentence with the word tea correctly. There we go. All right, so I put out my instruction. Okay, hit cancel there. And as you can see, this like nice little post-it just came up here on the screen, right? So something I like to do with my students is, have them also interact with what I'm doing on the screen. So one of the cool things about Jamboard is that you can also share this with students so that they can collaborate, whether from their laptops, Chromebooks, desktop. So a really nice way you can do that is just by hitting the share icon at the top right. So you can, it could be either restricted or anyone with the link. I'll just go ahead and say anyone with the link. And I'll also make sure that my students are in editor mode so that they can also add things to the Jamboard that I'm giving them in class. So I'll just go ahead and click OK, editor. Okay, so once that's done, you can copy link, all right, and send it in the chat, right? So once you send it in the chat, whether you're using Google Meet, Zoom, or whatever, all right, students will be able to log in and start working. So once that's done, okay, what can students do? So particularly, I just want to go ahead and tell them, okay, start making sentences, right? So for example, you can have student number one, maybe, they might come up with a sentence like, you know, I don't like green tea, right? Another student might come up with something like, Jasmine prefers Thai tea to, well, I don't know, to lemon tea. And so on. So all your students can start adding different little notes and even shapes and things like that. So they can start adding some sentences here, right? Now, once that's done, you can also do the following. If you want, you can most definitely also, put this into. Let me just marker. Yep. Marker. If you want, you can actually even put some columns here, right? So for example, if you want students to understand sentence structure, right, and you want to have them, do separate ones, like, okay, so we're going to work on affirmative sentences with that vocabulary, right? We're going to work on negative sentences, and then we're going to work on how to make question sentences or interrogative sentences. So then students will see about how to use the word correctly and put it in the category where it corresponds. You might have students say, let's say for the negative, let's say something like, Daniel doesn't drink tea on Mondays, right? So, and that can go in the negative, right? The student might say, well, okay, I'm going to do the question one. All right. Did the cat drink your tea last night? Okay. And the student can just take that little post-it and hover it over to the interrogative questions section, right? But frankly, you guys are the creative masterminds here behind this. So this is just a nice little way that I use the vocabulary that we have in each of the Duolingo for Schools lessons. Of course, you can definitely copy this or emulate it. You can change it to whatever you want. You guys know your students. You know what they are like, what they need, what they're good at, what they're lacking in, and you can definitely tailor this to whatever needs you have in the classroom. So this is just a nice little way that I go ahead and use the resources that we have. We use our teacher creativity. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope it serves maybe some inspiration or some creative ideas, and you guys can go ahead and just run with it. So, well, take care, and thanks for watching this.